Hello! Welcome to Unit 7, Lesson 3, Surface Area of Cylinders, okay? So surface area is just that. It's the area that the surface takes up. And so another way we can think of it is like if we were to lay out a three-dimensional shape completely flat, first off we would get something called a net. That's what this is. And it's kind of like, it's the flat version of a three-dimensional shape. So like if I were to cut this out and fold it back, I could end up with a cylinder. Now it's probably not drawn perfectly, but hopefully you get the idea. Okay? So there's a few things that we need to understand. So first off, we have this right here, which is the radius of our bases. Okay, that goes from the center of the base to the edge. That matches with this one right here. This is also that same base, right? So this is this cut out. The height, that's this right here. That's the same as this, okay? And this, notice I wrote here that this length right here is the circumference of the circle. Ooh, circumference. So that's this length, right? If we were to lay that out flat, this is what we would get. We would get this rectangle, okay? So to find the area of a circle, we use this value here, pi r squared. This is the area of one circle, but we have two of them. So that's why within our equation for surface area, we have 2 times pi times r squared, because that covers both circles. And then the circumference of a circle is found by multiplying 2 times pi times r, or the radius. But that's just this length, and to find the area of a rectangle, you also have to multiply by the height. And then you add it all together. So you might see it like this. You also might see it backwards. You might see 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi rh. Okay, it's the exact same thing, but because of the commutative property of addition, we can flip-flop those. Okay, so let's get right into it. Example number 1. Find the surface area of a cylinder with a radius of 4 and a height of 2 centimeters. And we're just going to use 3.14 for pi. And one really nice thing, you could use a calculator. Woohoo! So, let's write our formula. We've got 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi radius times height. And then we're just going to plug in those values. So it's actually a lot easier than you think it might be. So we've got 2. And then pi, like I said, we're going to multiply that, or we're going to use 3.14. And then our radius, let's see, our radius was 4 centimeters, so I've got 4 squared plus 2 times pi times the radius, which again was 4, times the height, which is 2. Now that I have all of that in there, I just need to solve, okay? So, we can use the handy dandy calculator, okay? So, and there's some stuff that like you could do on your own, really. So let's go ahead and do some of that, right? So maybe you don't know what 3.14 is, but we do know what 4 squared is. 4 squared is equal to 4 times 4, which is 16. So we could say 2 times 3.14 times 16, right? We're going to multiply all of that together first, and then we're going to add that to, we've got 2 times 3.14, and then like 4 times 2, we can do 4 times 2, that's equal to 8, right? We can bring some other stuff down. I know that 2 times 16 is 32, so we could say 32 times 3.14 plus, and then 2 times 8 is 16, times 3.14. So there was some stuff I was able to just do in my head, but with the decimals, go ahead, use the calculator. So I'm trying to be able to show everything. There we go. 32 times 3.14, that's equal to 100.48, plus, we clear that, 16 times 3.14 is 50.24. Okay? Remember, because of the order of operations, you have to do multiplication first, and now we'll add them together. So I'm going to add that to 100.48, giving me 150.72. Now, I know what these numbers were referring to. They were referring to centimeters. And since we're talking about area, that means they are squared. So this would be centimeters squared for my final answer. Okay? Let's do a couple more. Okay. A baker needs to cover a cake with icing. The cake has a radius of 5 inches and a height of 7 inches. Icing will not be added to the bottom, okay? And I should have put on there, we're looking for the surface area, but we're not including the bottom this time. So, and just to make sure that I have the formula correct, I'm going to look at my other paper. We've got 2 times pi r squared plus 2 times pi times the radius times the height. Let me just make sure I'm good. I am. Okay, but remember, pi r squared, that gives us the area of a circle, right? We multiplied by 2 originally because there were 2 circles. But if we're going to exclude the bottom of the cake, we can take away that 2, okay? And then we'll still use 3.14 for pi, okay? So let's see, the radius is 5, the height is 7. So let's fill all of this in. We've got 3.14 times 5 squared plus 2 times 3.14 times 5 times 7. Well, I know what 5 squared is equal to. 5 squared is equal to 25, right? 5 times 5. So really I need to do 3.14 times 25 plus, and then over here I have 5 times 7, that's 35, times 2 gives me 70. So I really could do 70 times 3.14. Okay, doing a little bit of math in my head, which I encourage you to do the same, right? With things like that, we should know them. And then with this, we can go ahead and solve. So we've got 3.14 times 25. That gives me 78.5 plus, and then we've got 70 times 3.14 is 219.8. Add them together, and we get 298.3. They were inches, so we should have inches squared. That's how much frosting or surface area the cake is going to need. Okay, with this one, number 4 on your quick check. A can of olives has a diameter of 6 inches and a height of 4 inches. How many square inches of paper will be needed for a label? So I want you to think about this, right? If we're only focused on the label, picture a can in your head, right? The label is never on the bottom and it's never on the top. Okay, so it's only the side, which from our equation up here with this one, right? This one referred to the circle, so that's like our bases, the top and the bottom. This refers to the face that is like around the side, right? That's this guy, okay? So that's all we need for this equation is 2 times pi times the radius times the height, because we're only looking for that rectangle's information. Remember from the net, it turns into a rectangle. So with this, let's see, we had a diameter of 6, which means my radius is 3. So I do have to be careful that I use the radius and not the diameter. And then my height is 4. So I've got 2, and then pi, we're going to use 3.14 times the radius, which is 3, times the height, which is 4. Well, once again, there's some of this math that I can do. Well, I know that 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times 4 is 24. So really what we're doing is 24 times 3.14. Okay, so let's see what that is. 24 times 3.14. 75 and 36 hundredths. Okay, and these were inches, So we should have inches squared, or square inches, however you want to say it. Okay? But anyway, I hope this helps. Once you have that formula, just plug things in and it's the same process each time. Okay? So, and as always, if you need extra support, just let me know.